Hey guys, let's start. So in this video, we'll be discussing about installing Java. So before we install Java, first of all, we need to understand why do we need to install Java. Well, it's very simple. If you want to run and develop Java programs, you will need Java runtime. You will need Java development kit and JVM. These three entities. Java runtime is going to be used to run your Java executables or your Java programs that you are writing. You will need JRE to compile your Java into bytecode, which is technically the code that JVM, which is a Java runtime that understands virtual machine that understands and executes the code. All right. So there are multiple ways we can install Java depending on the operating systems and all. But I'm going to first of all explain all of these ways, and I'll also give you the best way to install and manage Java. Right? If you are in college or if you are in universities, and if you are trying to do this first time, then you might have been taught that you download the executable, you put somewhere in the path all the bin and everything, and then you technically try to set a class path variable in your operating system's environment variables, right? Which is very cumbersome, to be honest, right? And let me tell you something, no professional does that. Instead of that, they use ready-made tools, right? So anyway, but before we jump into that, let me just tell you. So for example, whatever operating system that you're using, right, this is an official guide, by the way. You can just go to Windows and you can follow the instructions, right? If you are on Mac, you can just go and install Mac. If you're on Linux, you can just do Linux installation. If you are on some other operating system like subversions of Linux, right, Solaris or something, you can just go and install that too. As simple as that, right? But as you can see, right, this seems like a lot of manual effort to do. And as I said, in the industry, people usually don't do this. The reason is very simple. First thing is they might be developing using multiple Java versions. As I said, right, the current version of Java is Java 22, but if the applications which are written using older Java or that can only compile and run by older Java compiler or Java virtual machine, in that case you might want to maintain multiple versions of Java on local computer. Now the issue is, if you do something like this, then every time when you want to switch between versions, you will have to set or reset the class path variable, and trust me, you don't want to do that. It is not even worth it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a new tool which is called an SDKman, which is a software development kit manager. Let me just open it up. All right. So this is the software that can manage all the Java versions for you. It will install, it will set class path variable, it will set variable, environment variable, whatever you need to get the Java running. As simple as that. Right. Apart from Java, this software can be used to manage so many other Java based applications. For example, JVM based applications. For example, then there is another programming language called Kotlin. So Kotlin can also be used or managed using this software. I mean, how cool is that? So let's give it a try. All right. So to get started, right, first of all, this software is being used. I mean, you don't have to install anything to install this software. You just copy this link that is given here, and let me open my terminal. Then you just paste the link here and enter. That's it. Once you do that, it'll actually install SDKman. Whether you are on Linux, whether you are on Mac OS or on Windows. In my case, I've already have SDKman installed, as you can see. So I don't have to install SDKman, right? Let's say if I want to upgrade an SDKman, in that case, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to write this, copy and paste that command. And if there is a new version update available, it will install it. As you can see, there is a new version of SDKman available, so it has updated that. right? And as you can see now, the current version is this. All right, what did we learn? Simple. The tasks and installation of Java can be done very easily, so you don't have to do all of these manual things, to be honest, right? All right, so what we have done right now is we have installed SDKman, which is a software that can be used to install Java and JVM based applications, as well as programming languages, as well as toolkits and tools. So let's see if the SDKman is installed or not. So I'm just going to type SDK, I'll enter it. So if you are seeing this command, it means that the software has been installed in your system. As you can see, it will give you an introduction. SDK is a command line tool for this, and it can be used for this, and these are some commands that you can use to do a lot of these things. Now let's go and figure out how do we install Java. All right, so the first thing we have to do is, as you can see here, there is a lot of sub commands. So let's play around a bit. I'll just do SDK help, right? It's gonna give you the same because it's the health by default. And so the second trick is, first of all, let's see what Java versions or Java providers are available to install from. So all I'm going to do is I'll just do SDK list. But before we do that, right, let me just show you a trick. So first of all, you just type SDK list, and what it's going to do is it's going to actually show you all the softwares that can be, all the softwares or programming languages, all tools that can be used or installed and managed using SDK. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of languages, there are a lot of libraries, there are a lot of programming languages that can be used. If you have time, for example, right, you can just check all of this out, and you will get a very, very detailed understanding on how helpful this tool is. If you are planning to work in Java or JVM based ecosystem, this is a must-have tool in your local setup or in your local development computer. As simple as that. I can't stress enough. This is a beautiful tool. See, as you can see, there are lots and lots of Java Mission Control is there, Apache JMeter, and you also have a Kotlin, as I said, the language, right? Anyway, enough. We are here to learn Java. So now the next thing that we are going to do is, let's see what Java versions are available. So for that, the command is hold on. Seems like, yeah, something's missing. So the command is SDK list Java. That's it. All right, so when you do SDK list Java, what it's going to do, it's going to list all of these available versions for Mac OS. And what is the architecture? It's an ARM 64-bit. So as you can see, there are lots and lots of versions available from which we can choose. So first of all, let me just explain what this table is about. So Java inherently is an open source programming language, right, which is managed by Oracle. So what happens is, Java as a language is managed and then standardized by OpenJDK, right? By Oracle. And then there is a group of people who and group of companies who are involved in this, right? But it is just a standard. There is no actual implementation. So to get an implementation, you need, or to get a runtime, right? All the companies have implemented that standard. What I mean is, 3-4 companies will get together, and then they will be like, okay, this is what an if statement of the Java looks like. This is what a variable look like. This is how class looks like, right? So what they do is they get together, they discuss, and they come up with a standard, sort of like a document which describes how do you write certain things in Java, how the instructions in Java are written, right, and they are executed. But as I said, there is no actual software built yet. So now for that, to build a software, right, you had Oracle, which is the main company who does this. But lately, again, Oracle made Java a little bit of a commercial thing, and as programming language, it shouldn't be the case. So what ended up happening is different companies have come up with their own implementation of Java infrastructure or Java runtime, or what we call it as a Java JDK toolkit, right? So that is what the vendor is about. The use column is what current version you are currently using. Version is self-explanatory, what version of the Java you are using. Distribution is technically a code, and identifier is a unique identifier to install Java, which we will be using in some time. So let's say, so as you can see, there are multiple vendors. Corretto is from Amazon, then there are Graal from Oracle, and then the Java.net, which is an open JDK, which is like technically maintained by open community. Then there is a JetBrains version, then there is a Microsoft version, then there is an Oracle again version for the simple known Graal Java. Then there is a Tamarind, Tencent, Zulu. So all of these are vendors have implemented their own version. Now Tamarind is very important here. So Tamarind is something that is done implemented by Eclipse, and there is a promise that it's always gonna be free for commercial use. So Tamarind is one of the versions that technically you can use it and install it. Now, what are the three arrow? It means that the current version that SDK man has set as a default version is 22, right? So let's install, for example, there is a new version. It seems like available 22.0.1. So let's install this version and let's see how it is. For example, if there is no version installed in your computer, in that case, you will not see this arrow. So let's install Java. So I'll just do SDK. The command is SDK install Java, and the identifier that we have copied, we'll just paste it. You press enter, and that's all you have to do. Once you do that, what it's going to do is it's going to go to that Tamarind Eclipse server. It'll download the Java, that particular version. It'll, after downloading, what it'll do is technically it'll unbox all of the binaries and JDKs and GRE and all of this, and it will install Java in your computer at particular place, and it will also set up your class paths and everything for you. So you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just run this one command. Now every time you install a new version of Java, there will be a prompt. SDK man is trying to ask you that, hey, do you want to set this as a default Java version? Let's say I'll just going to say yes. Right, so that's it. It'll just say default Java version is 22.0.1. Let's again list Java and see. Right, so as you can see, again I'll go here and I'll move to Tamarind. Yes, so as you can see now, the arrow has moved from 22 to 22.0.1, right? So that is now the new version that I'm using. Let me also show you that Java hyphen version. When you do this command, it will technically tell you what version, what platform, what runtime environment you are using. So as you can see, right, we are using Java 22.0.1. all right, now you might be thinking that, okay, you have installed this, but how do I switch between versions? Right, very simple. For that, we are going to there is a command for that. We are going to use a command called SDK use Java 22, and again you will always have to use identifiers. So I don't remember the identifier, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the list. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, and then I'm going to find an identifier that I can use to identify the Java. So as you can see, यहाँ पे 22 time is the identifier. So what I'll do is I'll install, I'll because it's already installed, I'll just do SDK use Java this version. So once I do that, as you can see, now it has switched from the Java 22.0.1 to 22. Let's see, I'll just do Java version. So if you can see, as you can see, this is the previous version before switching, right? And this is the current version after switching. So as you can see, it has switched. I can again switch to the other version. So I'm just going to again copy this, and I'm just going to paste this identifier here. If I do this, as you can see, right now it has again switched, and I'm just going to do Java version. It's gonna do the same thing. All right, so this is how you can install Java using SDK man. You can use whatever version of the Java that you want to use. You can also switch between Java versions. The last thing that I wanted to tell you is how do you set a default version, for example, right? If you want to do so, it's there is also a command for that. It's called SDK default Java 22 tem. All right. So now I'm setting as a default version of the Java. By the way, there is a neat trick to this. Okay, so for example, when you do install and then when you press tab, right, it's gonna auto complete all of these things. So as you can see, because see, यहाँ पे there is an intelligence involved. Okay, when you try to set something default, what it means is it understands that only local installed version can be set default, right? So what it does is it is only showing me two versions, 22 and 22.0.1, because these are the only two versions which are installed locally, right? So let's say if I'll try to install, then it'll give you all of the other versions, right? Let's see, I'll just do tab. See, it is literally giving me all the version of the Java that I can install. How good is that? So there is a little bit of intelligence involved in this tool too, beautiful. All right, so this was all about installing Java and using Java and switching between different Java versions using SDK man. I hope you like this toolkit. I hope you use this SDK man in your day-to-day Java workflow, because this is, again, as I said, I can't stretch enough. It is very useful tool, and when you start working in Java professionally, this tool is gonna be super helpful to you. All right, thank you guys.